The European Union will not cut economic ties with China to secure a trade deal with Donald Trump's administration, the European Commission said Tuesday, April 22nd. This comes amid reports that the White House has asked countries to choose between Washington and Beijing. Although the United States has not officially confirmed this demand, Trump has suggested nations might have to pick sides to gain lasting concessions from his tariffs, which have surprised allies and rivals alike. These tariffs are temporarily paused for 90 days, giving governments a chance to negotiate deals. When asked if Latin America should decouple from China, Trump told Fox News, maybe they should do that. This comment drew a sharp warning from Beijing. China's Ministry of Commerce said Monday, China firmly opposes any deal made at the expense of its interests. If that happens, China will not accept it and will take reciprocal action. No one is immune to the effects of unilateralism and protectionism. On Tuesday, the European Commission, responsible for the trade policy of its 27 members, distanced itself from the dispute. It said talks with the U.S. and relations with China are separate issues. We have ongoing trade talks with the U.S., said Ariana Podesta, the Commission's deputy spokesperson. These are negotiations aiming for a win-win outcome, which is different from our relationship with China. Podesta emphasized the EU's stance on China remains the same, de-risking, not decoupling. When asked if China was off-limits in U.S. negotiations, she said the only non-negotiable issue was the safety and well-being of EU citizens, referring to food safety standards the U.S. calls non-tariff barriers. Everything else is open for discussion, she added. The EU's DeRisking Strategy, introduced by Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, aims to reduce vulnerable dependencies on China, especially in sensitive sectors like high-tech. China has been accused of using supply chains as leverage, cutting exports of critical minerals and magnets in response to U.S. tariffs. Von der Leyen, praised by Joe Biden's administration for her strong stance on China, has recently softened her tone. She now describes a transactional foreign policy that allows for constructive engagement with countries like China, even if they don't share the EU's core values. Soon after Trump announced his reciprocal tariffs, which unsettled markets, von der Leyen spoke with Chinese Premier Li Qiang. The EU stressed the need for a strong, fair trading system, while China expressed readiness to promote steady development in EU-China relations. Both sides announced an EU-China summit for July. This exchange sparked talk of an EU-China reset, which Brussels downplayed, warning against flooding the EU market with cheap Chinese exports displaced by U.S. tariffs. Von der Leyen said, "We cannot absorb global overcapacity nor accept dumping." In 2023, the U.S. was the EU's top